Good morning, everyone. We're about to bring you the latest COVID-19 UAE updates. However, if you found this podcast through an article, which so many of you are doing, please hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcasts so you can get your Dubai news daily. Dubai, welcome back to the Lovin Daily, where we take you through the trending stories that everyone in Dubai is talking about. Today we're talking about His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, who surprised graduates at their ceremony last night. How exciting would that be? We're also talking about private schools in Dubai. The fees have, well, they haven't decreased, but they're not going to increase, which is quite exciting.
I was like, wow, they're going to decrease? But
no, that's unfortunate. I'm not bringing that news today.
At least they're not increasing, yeah. And apart from that, we'll also be talking about the UAE investing 36 billion dirhams in Israel, and the UAE Sheikh gives a drowning and disabled turtle a new lease of life.
So cute. So I saw this story yesterday. But before we jump into them, has anyone been on Instagram this morning?
I have, just after you told me what's the new feature that Dubai's got.
Finally, like it's been so long in the States, Reels has just dropped in Dubai, in the UAE. So now you basically have TikTok features on Instagram.
That's
Is
amazing.
that the best way to describe it?
I mean, these 2 weeks have been like just upping for Instagram. Last week was the music.
Yeah.
This week is Instagram Reels. That's it. We've got it all now.
It's not, and I think like this is one of those features that could be game changing. So like, do you remember when Instagram brought in stories and for about 2 weeks people were like, nah, I'm not going to start using that. And then you start using it because you realize how cool it is.
Yeah.
Reels just gives that extra element to your stories. So you can like chop and cut them and add the music and add the text.
Extra editing, yeah.
Tried to make one this morning if you want to go and have a look at it. Yeah, Simran's more talented with this type of stuff, but this morning I was like, I have to do it. And I put on like...
did it so well. Actually, these things take time to get a hang of. And there are people when I
say it takes time, so you didn't think that the first one was good. I put text on it, I cut it, I chopped it.
I'm saying it was good. I'm not like, but for normal people who are not as creative and like who pick up on things as fast as Casey, me.
No.
I'm one of those. It'll take time for me to learn. Like TikTok, it literally took me a full day to understand what is TikTok. And how is TikTok?
Oh, I still don't understand TikTok. But with this one, with Reels this morning, I chopped the videos. That was really easy. Yeah. But actually putting text on it, which you think would be the easy part, I was then like Googling and...
But did you figure it out?
You just have to like hit to the end and then you can do all the normal stuff.
But I'm sure it's going to have features different to TikTok. So that's what I want to see. Like, what does this have that TikTok doesn't? Because the concepts are the same, basically.
They're really similar. They did that crafty move that Facebook, which now obviously owns Instagram, is very famous for, which is seeing something on the market that's performing really well that people love and bring it into their platform, into their product. Can TikTok fast forward the videos?
Yeah, it can. Yeah. That's not one feature that's new. So first, Instagram took from Snapchat the inspo of stories. Yeah. And now TikTok, it's like Instagram is going to become an all-in-one platform eventually.
And we are definitely an Instagram city. Like, we love it. We love all of the features, all of the GIFs, like all of the question products. We're on TikTok, Lovin Dubai is, but in general, I think we as a user, not just as Lovin Dubai, but I think as users, seems to be people.
IG.
You guys, what do you use? Anything? Well, you're on Instagram right now. We're actually going to start TikTok live soon, which is cool in the morning because it's a feature.
Ooh, one more phone in the studio to take care of.
The positivity. Guys, we will jump into our first story. Last night, His Highness Sheikh Hamdan surprised graduates at a graduation ceremony. This was the HBMSU celebration. They held the graduation of the first PhD learners during a virtual ceremony. And it was broadcast live, which is very cool. It was actually like kind of the first of its kind. And His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, he sent a surprise email to the 516 graduates. So they were all at their graduation ceremony. 516 virtually, and this ceremony was a little bit different to others. They've involved kind of film production aspects, and then the huge screen that all of the attendees could see, His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, Crown Prince of Dubai's face came up on it, and then the message that he sent to them all came up, which was: so happy to share in the excitement of your graduation day. It is my pleasure to assure you that HBMSU is very, very proud of you and your well-deserved success. Best wishes for a bright future.
How sweet. Short, straight to the point, and sweet.
Said everything it needed to say. Wishing you the best. I mean, you're not, we see nice graduations pre-COVID, and then during COVID, universities try and do special things for their graduates because it's such a huge moment for people who get there. We've seen kind of messages on the Burj Khalifa once or twice by universities here. That was really cool. But to get a message from Crown Prince of Dubai at your graduation, like that's kind of peak. Yes, it's COVID. I'm sitting at home, but this is really cool.
It is
That's
really
something you'll
cool.
remember.
And another graduation that really stuck out during COVID, just because you brought that up, was the cinema one, the outdoor cinemas, where they had the graduation board and everyone came in their cars that was socially distanced.
I don't remember. That's so cool.
Remember last year? Were you on a holiday, Casey? No, you weren't. You were here, and we did like an Amazon article and like put in some shopping products anyway. But apart from that, and so it was like they all went. So it was the outdoor cinemas,
Yeah.
and all the cars were like socially distanced, and families were allowed to go, like the mom, dad, and the graduate. And they just like, it was like all the names came up and something like that. It was cute. It was really cute.
I love that. I love all of these kind of special changes that we made for COVID. But as life moves on and as we return to normal with all the vaccinations in progress, I look forward to looking back on that time as a special, as a special moment in history.
It is historic, quite historic. And so is this moment when I wish we had Fazal writing us an email for our graduation, but no.
What did you have?
I didn't attend my graduation because I was so committed to my Lovin Dubai job.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't take a day off because it was a Saturday and I was working on weekends that time.
Oh, you should have.
I didn't.
Should we have one in the office for Simran? I never attended mine either.
Really?
No, I was here. I just moved to the UAE and my graduation's back in Ireland, so I missed it. Never got the cap and gown experience.
Oh my god, then we should both. Did you?
If it makes you feel any better, I never had a graduation.
What? What is happening
What
in
was
the
your
office?
COVID? Okay, well, he's
COVID. Okay, so like
What? Okay.
Simran is married to her job. I had left the country and Ali had a pandemic. Okay, we need to get a one size fits all cap and gown and we'll do that. And if anyone wants to, imagine if there's like an Instagram filter with a graduation cap and gown and everyone who missed theirs and we can post them on our stories, that'd be cute.
Oh my god, morning graduation. Should we have one in the studio one day? An exclusive graduation just for us? Without Ali because he missed his because of the pandemic. That's not an excuse.
What? How is that not?
No, it's not. Anyway.
No comment.
No comment.
But yeah. So one thing we didn't learn in university is about investments, which we're going to be talking about now. Damn.
Some people did. But...
Oh, really? Did you?
No, I did journalism. Fantastic.
Okay, so, oh yeah. I mean, like some majors do teach you investment. Never mind. Okay, so now the UAE is to invest 36 billion dirhams in Israel. Following the historic Abraham Accord Israel-UAE peace treaty, the UAE has officially announced that 36 billion will be allocated for investments in and alongside Israel across sectors. Now, WAM, the official news agency of the UAE, stated that the funds will aim to bolster economic ties between the two of the region's thriving economies and unlocking investment and partnership opportunities to drive socioeconomic progress. The decision was reached post a phone call between Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, and Deputy Supreme Commander of the UAE Armed Forces, and Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of the State of Israel. And the funds will go towards supporting developing sectors, including energy, manufacturing, water, space, healthcare, agri-tech, and as well as promote regional economic cooperation between the two countries. So it's
a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. When I read it, I'm just like, so 36 billion dirhams is it's how much is it in US dollars? I'm just going to look it up real fast.
Yeah, no, I think it's so cool. I think we're seeing, obviously, first the relationship happens and then you're seeing $10 billion.
Yeah.
Wow. And you're seeing kind of the cooperation between the two countries, and then money is what money talks, right? So this is like the real cementing of the relationships when the UAE starts investing in Israel. And I know we're seeing it back and forth. Numerous kind of Israeli business parties have been traveling here. We've seen businesses open. So it's kind of a great stepping stone. And tomorrow we're having the UAE-Israel rugby match, which I talked about. It's happening at Dubai Sports City, which would be really cool. So we've found out it's not for spectators, but I'd love to go. Be really cool.
Sports, investment. It's just like a whole bunch of things happening to really, like you said, cement the ties between the two countries. So it's exciting to see what all is coming up ahead. Because oh my God, like 36 billion is actually like a lot of money.
And in terms of tourism, they're looking at a travel corridor between the UAE and Israel. So I think this summer, there's a lot of talk about holidays and where people can travel and where people will travel. And it always depends on the country that you're traveling to. Now, as we know, Israel has led the way in terms of vaccinations. They will most likely be the first country in the world to have the majority of eligible population vaccinated. And from what we've heard, the UAE is planning a travel-free corridor, so a quarantine-free corridor. So, and obviously, as the UAE is also leading the game in terms of vaccinations, we will be making that step as well. So, between countries that we can look to traveling to, Israel is there.
And also, hundreds of vaccinated Israelis will attend a concert in Tel Aviv. So they're holding a concert for all the vaccinated people there. So they're doing a lot to promote vaccinations in Israel.
Is it a concert and then
it's a concert
you
that
can only attend if you're
yes,
vaccinated?
Yeah.
It's tricky, isn't it? And what about, so there's a number of events happening, I think in Abu Dhabi, and you either must be vaccinated or have that negative PCR test in the last 2 days.
Oh, okay.
Well, because that makes, I guess that opens it up
yeah.
to people who haven't been vaccinated. But obviously in Israel, they're really top of the charts there.
Yeah.
We move on. Private school fees. Parents, your ears are pricking. I hope you're listening. Private school fees in Dubai will not increase this year. Exciting announcements. Exciting announcements from the KHDA last night. Tuition fees for the 2021-2022 academic year will not increase. This is the second year that fees for Dubai schools have remained steady. Now, the announcement follows the release of the Annual Education Cost Index, that's the ECI, calculated by the Dubai Statistics Centre, which measures annual changes in the cost of running a school, and also that includes salaries, rent, and utilities. And the ECI actually found that for this year, that stands at minus 2.5%. So the running costs and what are expected has gone down by 2.58%. And that's why fees will not be increasing. But I did see a great comment on the Twitter thread, which said they should even look at reducing fees. They're too high.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, it will be such a burden of parents if they do make the decision to reduce fees, especially now with job losses and like so many factors playing in. It just makes like, I don't know, it would really help parents and guardians and those looking after kids and sponsoring the tuition.
It would 100% help parents, and you know that school fees are a fortune here. They're quite expensive. So if you're sending 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 kids to schools in Dubai, it's costing you a lot of money. But at the same time, you have to remember that they're businesses, right? So if businesses, they're looking at the bottom line as much as they're looking at the fees of the school. So it would be unlikely that they will start reducing fees. If they have, let us know, or maybe for a term or maybe for 2 terms. But at the same time, if students aren't actually attending physically and it comes to 6 months and your child hasn't used the school campus, maybe there's grounds for saying, hey, can you drop the fees, please?
Or I think they have those options, right? Either you do face-to-face learning or you can choose to do virtual learning. Right?
It's an option.
Yeah. So maybe the option for virtual learning is a lot more like that might be more discounted than the actual school fees. I don't know how that works.
No, I don't think so. And I think the virtual learning was put in place as kind of like a temporary measure. I think the KHDA said at the start of the year, it's a temporary measure while schools kind of are adjusting to opening in this confusing time for schools. So at the time they didn't offer reduced fees for.
I just hope schools, like parents that are struggling, I hope school faculties do offer them the grants, or not the grants, like they work out some kind of package or something for parents that who could afford before but have had financial issues and stuff. So hopefully that's there in place for them. So if you guys are struggling, like definitely give it a go and try talking to the school and the faculty members and administration and see if they can help you out before completely moving your child to another school.
100%.
Because I know like that is when you're in school, as a child, it's one of your biggest fears to be moved schools, and then you have to change your friends and all those things. Like it's a lot for children to be just moving around.
Yeah, you can't imagine the stress for parents and for kids as well.
Yeah, for both. Because I remember like when my parents were thinking of moving my school, I was just like, but eventually it didn't happen. But it was very stressful.
So what age were you at the time?
I can't remember. I think I was in grade 6. So must have been 11 years old. And I was like palpitating and I was like, no. And my tantrums were like next level. So my parents were like, oh my God, you know what? Let's keep this demon where she is. Like, okay, go.
So tantrums work.
Sometimes.
No, but you can see that type of stress on the family, how it can affect kids. But I'm glad that you didn't have to move schools.
Oh, I wish I did. Just kidding. Not looking back, it's like moving on. Yeah. So the UAE Sheikh gives a drowning and disabled turtle a new lease of life. Now, it's truly heartbreaking what animals have to endure as a result of human activities. But luckily, there are a few good ones out there who venture out and correct the mistakes of those who just do not seem to care. And recently, Sheikh Fahim Al Qasimi shared a story of Farah, the turtle, a 20-year-old sea turtle who got trapped by a fishing wire and ended up losing her leg while struggling to break free. The drowning turtle was luckily found and rescued by the Sharjah Royal, who was on a free driving trip at Sir Nuair. And the turtle was found in a dire condition where her neck and flipper got stuck to the seabed, trapping her below the surface. And by cutting away the restraints, Fahim not only rescued the injured turtle, but provided her with immediate medical attention to aid her in her recovery. And she was then taken to a turtle rehabilitation sanctuary at Burj Al Arab to undergo treatment. And the DTRP then conducted surgery on Farah and put her on antibiotics. And eventually, Farah slowly but surely started showing signs of recovery as she began to regain her appetite and all of that. So, guys, it's a major lesson. Please dispose of your trash responsibly. This isn't a one-off incident. Marine animals, camels, stray animals, and birds frequently end up suffocating and dying as a result of plastic consumption. And that's something we can avoid. Like all we have to do is throw our trash in a waste bin or keep it or collect it and throw it after we've gone camping or fishing or yachting or whatever it is. It's so basic and it can save so many lives. So just let's be responsible when we're out there.
Yeah, I think we've had a number of conversations around this recently, around how our trash can just so easily disturb the ecosystem and just, really hurt baby animals. But it's great to see people with big platforms putting it on their profiles to spread the message and to spread the awareness.
The most recent story we did of Fahim was, I think, last year or the beginning. Yeah, it was definitely last year. And it was a turtle who had a straw stuck up its nose. It was like really stuck up there and they had to just ply it off. It's so sad. Like, I mean, people don't understand. It's like for us, it's just a straw we're chucking in the water, but it really kills the marine life. And like cats, birds, they choke on these kind of things, like bubble gum. People just chew their gum and spit it out, and then it gets stuck for animals. Like, they don't know what it is.
Yeah, and the thing is, we just see waste, even in like parks and communities around Dubai. Like, people just don't find the bin. It's easy.
And the thing is, in Dubai, it's guys, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, we have it everywhere, like bins. Like, every 2 blocks you'll find a garbage bin and trash bin. Like, they do so much to keep the city clean.
That's the thing, they do, and there's people cleaning up after us all the time, and that's probably why people become so complacent. But it's videos like this and messages like this that we need to really learn from.
Yeah.
And I know we share the message, and I know it's something that you feel very passionate about, and I also feel very strongly about, not leaving waste after yourself anywhere you're camping or even just like on the street. But it's always a good reminder. And sometimes you see these really sad videos that you're remembering of a straw up a turtle's nose, and sometimes it's really heartbreaking, but you need to see them as a reminder to cut that waste.
Cut it off. Mm-hmm. Actually, people are just lazy. Like there'll be a bin there and they'll be like, oh, never mind. But anyway, I'm glad we'll be having Fahim in the studios with us next week, so he can be telling us more about it and more of his experiences and adventures out there in the water, and he's rescued quite a few turtles. He loves turtles. So it'll be nice hearing more on that as well. But after the break, we'll be joined by UAE resident Sean Burgess. Now, Sean took on the 7 Emirates Challenge. It was a Guinness World Record attempt to cross the UAE by foot in under 7 days, and that's 650 kilometers. And
that's just incredible. And as well as that, don't miss an interview with Hassan Abu Fakir on Smashy TV, our Arabic sister channel, which provides you with the latest business and tech news. Our host Hala will be talking to Hassan about SLF and their involvement in the Seven Emirates Challenge and how they assisted Sean with completing his journey through the UAE by foot. Stay tuned. Lovin Extra is here. This is the new membership, and while absolutely nothing changes for our readers, extra members get access to premium content, exclusive competitions, and first look for tickets and access to the coolest events across the city, and Lovin merch. If you subscribe right now, a very cool Lovin Red Eco Water bottle will be delivered to your door. Guys, welcome back to the show. Right now we are joined by Sean Burgess, Guinness World Record holder. How are you doing? Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, I'm doing okay. It's been 6 days now since we finished, and I'm still healing, but slowly. So, but trying to get back into normality and back to a normal life after 7 days on the road. So, slowly. It's
7 days on the road and months of prep, guys. To give you a bit of background, Sean broke the Guinness World Record for the fastest crossing on foot of the UAE, 7 Emirates, between 650, 700 kilometers. Is that right?
Well, it was originally planned 650 kilometers, but because we had so much support from the police, we actually managed to shave a few kilometers off that. So I haven't been through my Garmin yet and actually worked out exactly how much it was. It's definitely over 600, but probably slightly short of 650, which is a good thing. It kind of helps in the end, but I think anything over 600 is still a pretty big feat of endurance.
I think anything over 10 is a pretty big feat, to be honest. But this idea didn't happen in a day, in a week, in a month. When did the idea come about, and what inspired you to kind of go for it?
Well, every year for the last few years, I've kind of taken on a big challenge, whether it was sort of climbing Kilimanjaro or I swam from Asia to Europe in the Bosphorus swim. And my big challenge for last year was the Marathon des Sables, the 250-kilometer ultra across the Sahara Desert. But because of COVID, that got postponed. And I was a bit lost. And I think like a lot of people, we went into lockdown and I got quite fat over those three months. And so I needed something to inspire me and get me out of my rut. So I looked at what I could do in the UAE that was relatively COVID-proof. And after doing, my CEO at the time challenged me to do 100,000 steps in the middle of July, I think it was. And so I went out into Dubai and I walked 100,000 steps, and it was 80 kilometers, and it completely broke me in the Dubai heat. But that kind of then made me think, well, where else can I walk? And I looked at walking between the different Emirates, and then it suddenly got into this thing of maybe I could just go across the entire UAE. And funny enough, there was actually an existing Guinness World Record that nobody had broken, but it was there to be broken, where you cross from Al Guwafat in the west on the Saudi border, all the way to the Fujairah coastline, crossing through each of the 7 Emirates on the way. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And that was 9 months ago. And since then, it just became this huge event. And finally, we set off a couple of weeks ago, and luckily we were successful. So it was a great challenge in the end.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations to you and the entire team that was involved. This was like, guys, grueling 20 hours a day, if I'm not wrong, walking, running. Tell us about the team. Like, what does it take if I'm inspired by watching this interview? What does it take for someone to actually pull this type of achievement off?
Wow. Well, I didn't realize how big it was going to get. And luckily I had a chap called Gino, who's a good friend of mine and a film producer, who came on board 9 months ago. He kind of took my vision and turned it into reality, which was fantastic. And he saw that we needed a huge amount more support than I thought about. I thought I'd have one car and a couple guys and we'd do it on our own. And yet he made me realize, actually, no, you're crossing an entire country on the E11 for 500 kilometers. You need a lot of logistical support and support from authorities. So at one point we had up to 15 people on the support team. We had 8 vehicles, including 2 paramedics, a documentary crew, my support team, which was made up of my brother and Jay and John, 2 others who kind of looked after me for the whole trip. And then we had some representatives from the Abu Dhabi Film Commission who came on board as well to make sure that logistically the police were all sorted out. So it's just this monster of an event that you don't realize when you sort of think, I'm just going to walk 600 and something kilometers. You don't think about the logistics of it all. And I think people didn't realize, I think they thought that I was crossing the desert, but the actual most effective and efficient way is to walk along the E11 for literally 500 kilometers and then turn right and head towards Fujairah. So
I'm just imagining driving on that road for 500 kilometers. It's hard on the mind, and that's when you're going up 100 kilometers per hour. What goes through your mind? You know, you're day 3 deep into, you know, this E11 never-ending road. Is there moments where you're like, nah, that's it, get me in this car to go home? Or is it constant, your mind needs to stay positive?
yeah, absolutely. I think that I have that mindset where I'm quite introverted, so I like being in my own head, and I'm quite analytical. So people ask me whether I listen to podcasts or audiobooks, and I really didn't for the first 3 or 4 days, partly because I broke my headphones on the way down to the start line. So I couldn't get a replacement until I met it with my wife in Dubai. So yeah, for 4 days I didn't have anything. But also I was churning the numbers in my head all the time. So I was like, well, if I did 110 kilometers on the first day and 100 on the second day, then how much do I need to do on day 2? And that's how my mind works. But there were some really, really lonely periods. In particular, I would start my morning shift at 3 a.m. And so for the first 3 hours, it would be pitch black. And that was probably the darkest point, especially on day 3 when your body's starting to really break. And I had this anxiety that, you know, if I'm on day 3 and I can barely walk at this point, am I just going to get worse and worse and worse? And then all those fears and that embarrassment comes up of, oh my God, I'm going to have to tell people that I chucked in the towel. But you just keep going. And luckily I had my brother here who was heading up my support team. And I remember sending him a message on day 3 at about 5:30. And I just said, look, I'm struggling. So he jumped out the car, walked with me for an hour or 2, and having that support really kind of pushed me through the hard times. And what ended up happening is the motivation that I had at the start, which was set my own personal achievement, actually turned into a motivation to achieve for the rest of the support team. And it became, I need to do it for them because they've committed so much time and effort and energy, and they're invested in this as well. I've got to get this record because I want them to celebrate as much as I'm going to celebrate it, which is great. Because a couple of the guys, especially a couple of the paramedics, Dennis and Brian, they were only meant to be on for 1 or 2 days. And they were so invested by those 1 or 2 days, they ended up staying for the whole 7 days. And people had their own motivations for being a part of the challenge. So by the end of it, it was very, very emotional to walk onto the Fujairah coastline, onto the beach. And there's a lot of grown men crying at that point, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
Amazing. I'm sure, like, you've called it the 7 Emirates Challenge. And guys, if you want to see some of those photos and videos, you can check it out on Instagram, that people kind of sharing your journey shared. Just in terms of the team that were joining you, you mentioned you were struggling, so your brother joined you. What was it? So there was a car beside you the entire way?
Yes.
And then what happened at sleeping time, for example? Is it a tent that you pitch up? Are you sleeping in the car? How does that work?
Yeah, so what we had is a massive Denali. I think it's a Chevrolet car. We just stuck a mattress in the back, which was the most efficient way to do it because it meant wherever I stopped on the road, I could literally just jump in and sleep. But funny enough, it was such an uncomfortable place to sleep that's the one thing of the challenge. There's 2 big things of the challenge that I would change if I could do it again. One of them is my situation. I would have found a better sleeping situation because for the first 300 kilometers in 3 days, I slept probably about 2 or 3 hours collectively, which is just not enough time to repair your body. And the other thing is I wouldn't run. I had this ego problem, and for the first 2 days I ran 30 or 40% of it, and that really accelerated the breakdown of my body. So by day 3 and 4 I not only was broken, but I had severe shin splints, which is not an enjoyable experience to then spend 4 days and 450 kilometers walking on shin splints, but it's all part of the challenge. So those 2 things I changed. But yeah, the sleeping situation was wherever we stop, jump in the Denali, try and get an hour's sleep, try and rest, try and eat, and then go again. But yeah, it was a difficult one. And also quite a fun fact, whilst we're talking about the food, I was burning about 7,000 or 8,000 calories a day, but I was only eating about 2,000 calories a day, but I was never hungry. And we did a before and after body analysis. And over the course of those 7 days, I lost 8.5% body fat, which is just ridiculous because my body was just in that fat burning zone. So it was just burning fat all the time. It just didn't need carbohydrates. It just needed fat. And I had enough fat reserves to keep it sustained.
Wow. It's so interesting because these are all learnings that you've taken, but you really were the first person to really take this on and to try and do it. So, and the fact that it's kind of, I don't know, it's got a good name, the 7 Emirates Challenge, right? So I can see people wanting to take this on again and hopefully kind of hearing your learnings. Don't try and run on the first 2 days. Get all those salts in, have kind of extra nourishment with you, and get a good place to sleep might be helpful.
Absolutely, yeah, and I do hope that there's an ultra runner out there who now just goes and takes us on and smashes it in about 4 days, and I think that's what will end up happening, because I'm you know, if you see me, I'm not built like an ultra runner. I'm built more like a prop forward in rugby. So I think the opportunity is there now for somebody to go and absolutely smash it. But I also think it was great that it was the normal guy that did it first, because it needed that. It needed the benchmark to be set by somebody who's the average man that anyone can look at. And I got a lot of messages of support saying, you know, and I hope this is a compliment, but they were saying, you know, if you can do it, I can do it, which is a great thing.
If you're running ultras and you're doing those at the Marathon de Sable, which is, you know, one of the biggest, I think, the everyman, and then there's the bit people, so there's the me's, and then there's the you guys. No, but it is great, and to give people that inspiration, I think for you must be fantastic to be on the receiving end. And I know how inspired people were, because I was looking at Yalla Give, where you're accepting donations. Congratulations, by the way, on smashing your donation target. But all the messages, I think it must be so amazing to read. Like, people are giving you hundreds and hundreds of dirham, just saying, smash it, mate, you know, like they're super excited. And what were you doing this in aid of?
So originally it was all about, you know, a personal challenge, but what I loved about the Seven Emirates Challenge is unlike my other ones, which were very personal, because this became so much more of a community challenge and so many people got behind it, we did end up partnering with Golf for Good, and they introduced us to Soft Power Education, which is a Ugandan NGO that helps children in some of Uganda's poorest areas. And in particular, there's a special needs program that they do that really resonated with me. So that became basically the central focus of the challenge. It was part of the record, and it was part of an experience and a personal challenge, but the central focus very quickly became about raising money for Soft Power Education, who've really struggled because of COVID. They've had their volunteers have been depleted completely. They've had 50% of their donations cut. And so for us to raise even a small amount of money, which we have in the grand scheme of things, it's just incredible for them. And it will mean they can continue their great work that they do over in Uganda. So yeah, it's amazing, really. And to have the support of them and then pushing the story out, as well as our sponsors like Adidas and Garmin and Sported, is just such a massive thing that I've never had in any challenge before. It really is a very unique experience, this, for me, which is great. It's completely different to any of my previous challenges.
Yeah, the whole ecosystem kind of revolved around it to make it happen. And if people want to donate, so I think you're nearly at $11,000 now, if people want to donate, how can they do that?
So the best way is to go onto my Instagram page, because there's a link to Yalla Give on my Instagram page. That's Sean Burgess _ME. So if they go on there, they can click on the link and straight through, and that's the best way to donate. And honestly, any little amount that you can give now, there's about a few more days left before the license expires. So if they can do that now, then it honestly is a huge thing for this charity in Uganda.
I'm sure. And just before we let you go, you said it's maybe 6 or 7 days since you completed it. What has the recovery been like? How are you feeling now? Right. So my feet were healed almost immediately. So there's one little angry little toe that we were a little bit worried about, but the guys at Medic sorted that out, and so that's turned out fine. The shin splints are still very, very sore, and they throb all the time. But I say the funniest thing, the weirdest thing that I'm going through at the moment is that I'm still in my sleeping pattern from the challenge, which was basically non-existent. So I go to sleep now, and I sleep for 1 hour, and then I wake up in a pool of sweat thinking that I've got 100 kilometers to go. So I have these real sort of anxiety dreams of waking up and, oh my God, I've got to do another 100 kilometers. Then I've got to remind myself, then I remind myself, no, you finished. It was a week ago. Calm down. You're fine. Your body is in shock, I'm sure, just trying to, but it'll give you some time and then you'll be right as rain. Yeah, absolutely. And then I can plan the next challenge. 100%, and let us know. Guys, that is it for us on the Lovin Daily. Congratulations, Sean Burgess, Guinness World Record holder, completer of the Seven Emirates Challenge. Well done to you. Guys, that is a wrap for the Lovin Daily. We are back same time, same place every weekday morning. And of course, don't miss the Lovin Show every Tuesday, where I chat with Dubai personalities. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and have a great day.